Welcome to our last BC Better Breathers Club of BC for this year, our festive end of year celebration.
All right. Well, welcome to it. The end of 2024 here. And as we get into it, we would like to start with a land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we are on the land on which we live, work, and play is the unceded ancestral territory of the Coast Salish peoples. These are the unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. And if you'd like to pop your ancestral territories into the chat, we'd love to hear about all the different lands on which we live, work, and play. We also like to provide a safe space, as everyone here knows. I think we've all been here before. So we like to have a safe space free of judgment where we can share our thoughts, values, and opinions and ask questions without fear of judgment. So we thank you in advance for creating this safe space for everyone. And the information that we share here is for educational purposes, and it doesn't substitute any professional medical advice from your healthcare provider, even if it's about the holidays. It's a holiday celebration. So we're gonna get things started off with the top 10 countdown. Do you remember the David Letterman's top 10 countdown? So we'll get started with that one. And then we'll come through with some holiday tips and tricks to manage your breathing as we approach the holidays, because there's a lot of unique triggers that tend to happen around this time of year. And then we will end it off with holiday trivia and some prizes. So you're lucky you came out today. All right, so this is a David Letterman style top 10 countdown about holiday breathing triggers. And as we go through this one, I invite you to share whether or not this has been a trigger for you. And also, if you have any solutions, maybe it was something that bothered you, but you've found a fix for it. If you want to share that, that would be great, because I'm sure you're not alone. All right. I feel like we need, drum rolls or something. Jenna was looking for music. So it's a holiday breathing trigger top 10 countdown. So we'll start with number 10. Number 10 is scented candles and perfumes. Ooh, yeah, this is probably a common one. Anyone been triggered by this? Yeah. Got some nods. Yeah. Sometimes I get a headache from them even. Have you found a nice way to ask people if you're in somebody else's home that has used one of these, scented candles or perfumes? Have you found a way to say it nicely, like, oh, do you mind if I blow the candle out? Or
just blow it out.
Just blow it out. Yeah.
Do it.
What's polite after being a 45-year truck driver? I'm sorry, I can't breathe. Put that thing out around on.
Fair enough. Be direct. Like, hey, I can't breathe. Yeah.
Well, the worst for me is going into, it's not bad here. We only have one store that's really bad for it. But you get into the malls and you go into, let's say, Eaton's, Bay, Sears. The first thing you walk through is all their perfumes.
Yeah.
And it just gags me every time. And it's done that to me for years.
Yeah.
I just can't stand it.
I find my one saving grace is this time of year I'm usually wearing a scarf. So I can pull up my scarf and just like find my route and like beeline through it.
Or try to avoid the area where the store is located.
Yeah.
I think there was already a complaint filed previously, because remember Lush doesn't have those windows, those doors, or any kind of walls separated
Oh,
from the
interesting.
rest. So now
Hmm.
they are enclosed, but then I noticed recently that they open the doors now openly, and they have all these kind of promotions or something activities. So I think that will be we will be calling on the attention of the store managers again and say, because far from, that there is one store coming up that is selling heavily scented products, and that is Lush. So
Yeah,
That's
Oh.
true.
next time around.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's been nice in public buildings and stuff that there's been this shift to scent-free environments.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there's certainly a gray area when it comes to stores and things, I guess.
Right. And I think there are less and less people wearing perfumes or scented products nowadays.
yeah.
However, it is becoming more and more difficult to find unscented products, because even the unscented products sometimes they do smell, if you
Mhm.
notice it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I find the department stores have gotten a little better over the years when I walk into those areas.
Mhm.
But yeah, certainly it's still a thing. It's common. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So be wary when you buy
Santa, go
ones for
ahead.
your
Santa
house.
shop.
I I was walking into Metrotown Mall, and there are several teenagers vaping, like maybe some strawberry scented
Oh,
Mhm.
vaping. Yeah, and then the security like didn't see them vaping, but they were vaping inside the mall. They just vaping, and also
oh,
like another like 5 or 6 teenagers vaping inside the bus, but the bus driver was driving the bus. They were vaping. Yeah, it triggered my asthma. It's just very annoying. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
They
find
just don't have the social consciousness. Yeah, and not very considerate. Mhm.
no.
I've seen that happening in the mall. So you know why? They're using like jewels. So nobody can see those vaping
Mhm.
cigarettes, because they can
Yeah.
hide it anywhere in their clothings. And that is so small that it doesn't seem like. But the smoke coming out from that one is not as heavy cloud compared to those previous or other model of vaping products, but still, if you're close to them, you could still smell the
Oh
flavorings.
yeah.
You could identify
mhm.
the flavors they're using.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like people do take chances with vapes, like you say. They think people don't, they didn't see you go like this. Go, but no, but I'm
Yeah.
sensing and inhaling your
Yes.
Mm,
exhaled
yeah.
vape.
Mhm.
I was a co-chair of the Legacy for Airway Health, the
Mhm.
patient partner committee for 4 years. Um, we read articles that the vaping substance is they give out 52 kinds of impurities into the lung, and if you smoke cigarette, is 25 different kinds of impurities into the lung.
Hmm.
So vaping do more detrimental damage into the lung more than the cigarette smoking.
That is very correct, because the initial studies only shows heavy metals, water, and a lot of people still thinks that the vapor coming out, or the smoke coming out of the vaping product is just water, which is not true, because it has heavy metals, PM 2.5. Um, but they haven't really identified a lot of those um, toxicants or toxic products in the vaping. But recently, they have added a lot more of those heavy metals, toxic products that are byproducts that are produced in that vapor. So eventually, we will be finding that one of the myths from vaping, that they said it's a safer alternative from tobacco cigarette, is no longer true. We'll prove that
No.
to these people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting too that they've, said things that are in the vapes are okay to ingest, like as
Mm-hmm.
food. So then they think it's okay to inhale it.
Yes.
But I can definitely tell you, broccoli in your lungs is not the same as broccoli in your stomach. So
Yeah.
that's not a comparison we want to be making.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
All right, we move
All
on.
right, we segued a little bit. I'm going to nudge
Yeah.
us back a little bit. Scented candles. But yes, 'tis the season for all these different kinds of aromas and scents to come in, and more than usual, I'd say, around this time of year. So be
Mm-hmm.
aware. You can wear an N95 if you're in the mall, if just throw it on. It can help to filter some stuff. You might still smell things through an N95, but it doesn't always mean that the stuff that's triggering you is getting through, even though the
Mm-hmm.
smell is getting through. So it still might be helpful. And even just a regular, like a surgical mask can help, or a scarf if that's what you've got handy, or maybe a really long Santa hat.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the countdown continues. Number 9, Christmas trees. So Christmas trees, I do love them. I especially love the real ones, but I do have some tree allergies myself, so I can attest to Christmas trees being a trigger because you might actually be allergic to the tree. It might be the scents and the fragrances that are coming off of the tree that are triggering you. And the artificial trees can also have, if they've been in storage and you're taking out your tree after a year, there might be dust and whatnot in there. And some of those can actually have scents on them as well. So there is a lot to do with Christmas trees that can
Okay.
definitely trigger us. Yeah. All right.
So one of the
Moving on.
things about Christmas trees and natural Christmas trees is, of course,
Yes.
as soon as you bring them home, they're dying, and the needles are going to start falling off. So when you bring your real Christmas tree home, cut about 6 inches off the bottom of it to expose fresh wood.
Yeah.
Mix
Okay.
up a quart of warm water and about a half a cup of sugar. Dissolve the sugar in it and pour that into the base of your Christmas tree and let it soak up all that water and sugar, and you'll find your Christmas tree lasts a lot
That's fine.
longer, and it won't be dropping all the needles and the dust that usually comes off of them.
Right.
Because the sugar helps.
Yes, the
That
sugar
feed
Yeah.
it.
helps
Yeah.
feed the tree.
That's a good tip, Alan.
Yeah.
I used
Remember
to
my
sell,
And then
I used to sell Christmas trees with the Kiwanis Club up here. That was one of our big
Ah,
fundraisers. So
Oh,
amazing. I've heard that trick for fresh cut flowers too.
hmm.
I think
Yeah.
my grandmother used to do something like that. Yeah.
yeah.
one thing.
And then
to
don't forget to
add-
wash out the base after if you're putting sugar in it
Yes.
before you
yes,
use it the next year.
One thing though with the artificial Christmas tree, it collects a lot of dust, and it depends on the trimmings that you put into it.
Uh.
It can create a lot of particles in your home, so be careful with that
Yep.
as well.
Yeah, that fake snow stuff.
Yes.
It gets in the air. Yeah, this, like the spray cans, you gotta be
Mhm.
careful with those. Yeah.
It's a good
All
reminder
right.
though. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
stuff's not even allowed in my house.
Yeah.
Right. That's good
Yeah.
though.
That's smart. Yeah.
Pick your
We
decorations
do
wisely.
on our artificial tree. I've had it a while, but we do like before we put it away, just a soft cloth, almost like
Yeah.
Swiffer, like a Swiffer cloth, and
Yeah.
just like go
Mhm.
through the branches, and then when it comes out again too. Yeah.
Good
It's
idea.
amazing how dust collects.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, number 8. Ooh, wood burning fireplaces. Oh, they're so magical, though. I understand the draw and the appeal there.
It has this sentimental values or
The
it,
coziness. I understand it.
feeling.
I feel it. But
The
sometimes I
crackling
feel it in
sound
my
of the
lungs.
fire.
Yeah. So wood burning fireplaces, especially if they're open, like just an open fireplace. So high efficiency wood stoves would be better than a wood burning
Mhm.
fireplace. But also there's gas ones and there are electric ones, and the feeling can be
Right.
very similar, if not the same.
Especially the
The
electric
feeling and
ones
the
now,
warmth.
the newer
Yeah, they're
ones,
so
right?
fast. Just boop.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. No emissions, just the heat.
If you
Yeah.
are within lower mainland or even just here in the lower mainland, you really don't have to have the wood burning fireplaces, really, because there is really the creation of fine particulate matter circulating in the neighborhood, affecting your entire neighborhood, including yourself. So you're feeling like, oh, I want to see the natural fire, hear the crackling sound of the wood. But as I've said, if you're really, really burning it the right way, there is no worries about it. But the problem is, a lot of people do not know the right way of burning wood in fireplaces. And that's the reason why you get this thick smoke that covers the entire neighborhood. And I don't want you to get involved with a conflict with your neighbors just because they're complaining about being smoked out. So, wood burning fireplaces, there are ways you could replace them and get some rebates if you replace them
Yeah. There's
with,
rebates.
yeah, with electric
Electric inserts.
fireplaces.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
They've come out with
the
that.
gas fireplaces are no longer advisable to have because of several studies that came out that it creates a lot of PM 2.5 as well. So in newer buildings and homes, gas fireplace will no longer be installed. So
Yeah, and they're phasing out the wood burning ones too. I can't remember what year, but it's not going to be
yes,
legal to use those for much longer either in the Vancouver area.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
The best really,
if you really need your fix of wood smoke, July and August, just go outside for a while.
There'll be forest fires.
yeah.
Alan. It's true. We get our fill of wood burning in the summer. It's all natural.
I put the provincial community wood smoke reduction
Yeah.
program link into the chat box if anybody wants to look
Yeah.
into that. Yeah.
If you're within Metro Vancouver is running that program, and they give additional incentives, and if you get that inserts that are approved by BC Hydro and Fortis, you get additional rebates. Yeah,
Nice. Nice.
better still is to get the heat pump, but if you live in an old house, it will cost you around $30,000, including the heat pump, because that requires replacing all your electrical kind of connections to a newer one to adapt to, or adapt the heat pump.
Yeah, it can be pricey,
It
but
is
it could be
because
worth it.
yeah,
Could be worth it, yeah. Probably you I think they're I forget if it's through the provincial programs, but energy advisor, and often you can kind of get a pre-check of your home.
mm-hmm.
Um, and then you could kind of maybe get an idea of what it might cost you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Number 7. Holiday breathing triggers. Cooking fumes. Especially if you cook the way I do. Sorry, everyone. Yeah, cooking fumes. So just being sensitive, especially if you're inviting people over for a meal, you could ask them what allergies they have, or if you've been invited to someone's home, not just for food allergy, but even the smells of things, right? Cooking can be a problem, especially if somebody's burning things, that's for sure.
Yeah, the indoor air quality is very, very real with
Right.
cooking. So you just want to make sure you're using fans, you've got good ventilation, good hood fans. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I even though like I read about this and I learn about it, I got a Dyson for my kitchen just in terms of it was just a fan because it gets really hot there. The sun sets on that side. And I really became aware of the type of indoor pollutants with cooking. It really was really opened my eyes. So those that get triggered by it, we see you, we hear you, and just really focus on that ventilation.
Yeah, and there's also one thing to add here, Jenna, is that depending on the type of cooking that you're doing, if you're frying a lot and using oil, and depending on the spices that
Hmm.
you add onto your cooking, it can create a lot of particulate matter there inside your
Hmm.
bowl. So, as Jenna was saying, make sure you have your range hoods on, your fans on, or if there is an opportunity for you to open your windows to get a good ventilation and fresher air, that would be better when you're cooking.
Yeah,
If you're
even if
just steaming and boiling, that's not a problem. But if you're stewing, if you're using a lot of spices and you're frying, that is also that can create a lot of PM or poor indoor air quality inside your home.
So
yeah, even if you can
basically, the more
close,
I was gonna say, basically, the more delicious your food is.
Yes.
the worse
That's
it is to
right.
breathe in. Yeah, and if you can close off the
Sharing the
kitchen door and
recipe.
open the window in the kitchen, that can help too. Then you can maybe be in the other room. Yeah. All right. Number 6. Speaking of food,
Ah, thinking
acid
of food.
reflux.
Yeah.
Gastroesophageal reflux disease. And this is common with breathing conditions. People with breathing conditions often have GERD or acid reflux. And so some acid comes up from the stomach into the back of the throat, and some of it can go into the lungs, and it can trigger coughing and throat irritation. So there are certain foods that are more likely to cause this, and you might already know some of those foods for yourself. Things like caffeine, chocolate, alcohol, acidic foods like tomatoes,
Mm.
all those pasta sauces. There are quite a few. So be aware of what those are and try to control the amount that you eat of those, and maybe trying to eat those not right before you're going to be going to bed or lying down, because that can make acid reflux worse. So earlier dinners can be better for more time to digest before you rest.
Yes. Some experts
Yeah.
suggest 2 hours before bedtime.
Yeah, I'd say at least 2 hours. Yeah. And then the other thing that can make acid reflux worse is overeating. And we know that comes hand in hand with the holidays.
Yep. Just watch out.
So control yourself.
Maybe difficult though.
Oh, it's such a challenge. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Holiday trigger number 5. Indoor air quality, coming right back to all these things we've been talking about: the scents, the perfumes, the candles, the Christmas tree, the food, even just people. If you're having people over, maybe they smoked or vaped outside and came in, but you can still get that third hand smoke off of their clothing and their hair. So there's a lot to think about with indoor air quality. And the with all of the heat on, whether it's a fire or a heat pump or a furnace, it gets dried out, right? And your throat gets so dry, it starts to trigger coughs. The air is dry and your mucus can get dry too and become really hard to cough up and clear. So for tips for this one, definitely the biggie is hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Don't forget to drink water. Hey, we go, Paula.
Yeah, Paula is drinking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You can have humidifiers. Be cautious with humidifiers. We want to use purified water or distilled water in those. But certainly trying to ingest more humidity, more liquids is your best bet. And stay on top of your mucus clearance techniques and strategies. Yeah.
Breathing with oxygen makes it hard too.
Good point, Jeannie. The oxygen is dry. It's a dry
Mhm.
gas. It's got the humidity removed from it, so that will make it even worse, and especially in your nose. So there
Right.
are some products that can help rehumidify the nose or lubricate the nose. Securus is a good one that's not oil-based. So you want non-oil-based lubes if you're using them with oxygen. Yeah, good point. And Jeannie, you had a good tip on a previous discussion about staying humidified by eating fruits or frozen fruits to help, just keep the liquids flowing.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that was mainly because I'm on a fluid restriction. So I can't
Yeah.
just drink water, just freely. I'm only allowed 1,500 milliliters a day. It's like 3 small bottles of water. So I have to kind of ration out the water or the liquid,
Yeah.
the soups, the
Yes.
tea.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
That's a
great
good
point because
point.
other people
Yeah.
are gonna have that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point.
When you were talking about the acid reflux, a couple strategies that I that I find for relieving it is to sleep out a wedge pillow and lying on my left side so the stomach gases don't flow back up the esophagus.
Yeah,
Yep,
I
that's
heard
a good
about
point.
that too from other patients that they use that wedge pillow so that then if they lie on their back with a wedge pillow, they're still
Yeah, so
up
like a
up on.
triangle.
Yeah,
So
yeah, the triangle. Yeah.
so the head is higher than
Mm-hmm.
than the
Than the
waist
body.
area.
Yeah.
You're up on an
Mm-hmm.
angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point if you're getting that with
Yeah.
changing positions. Yeah.
Did it take you a while to get used to it, Jeannie?
I think maybe in the very beginning, because I was trying to lie like halfway up the pillow, but
Yeah.
usually by morning I'm at the bottom of the pillow. So
Yeah.
I'm not completely flat, but I'm,
Yeah.
probably 20 degrees, above
Yeah.
the mattress. And
Okay.
in the
Yeah, that's right.
nighttime I try to sleep a little further up, like
Yeah.
30 degrees, or it's not 45, it's probably 30 degrees, but I do slide down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. 30 degrees is exactly what they recommend.
And
That's
I think
great.
it's not that expensive, Ginny, right? It's around
No.
$dollars.
I got my pillow through the Shoppers Home
Oh,
Care
okay.
Center, so I think it was probably about $100.
Whoa.
But
Really?
it's different sizes and different thickness,
Okay.
and I think at the time, um, I may have wanted it for um, to relieve swelling in my feet. So
Mm-hmm.
I kind of use it like double purpose for sleeping
Right.
and for, elevating my feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Good.
some people will use multiple pillows too if
Right.
you
Mm.
can't
But
afford one of
sleeping
those
with
fancy
multiple
ones.
pillows, your head kind of sinks in,
Yeah.
and then you don't have neck support.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Paula, you had a question.
Yeah, I have a wedge and I got it off Amazon and it was like $25.
There you
There we
go.
And
go.
Maybe
and I
maybe the persons who got hers is also got it from Amazon.
yeah, and I mean it works, but I find that I get really hot. So I also have a
Ah,
pillow. So I pull my pillow down and my pillowcase is cold. So that helps. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Yeah,
And it
you gotta flip
works.
the pillow.
Yeah. But I find it works for me. And I sleep on, I just thought about it, and I do sleep on my left side too.
Yeah.
But I didn't know
Ah,
why. It's just more comfortable
That's
on the
yeah.
wedge.
exactly what one of the patient told me. That's why I said, really? Okay, so they sleep on the left side. They find the wedge pillow very useful, especially when they're experiencing some kind of shortness of breath after a heavy meal or something like that. Or so even if they fell asleep while resting or waiting for bedtime, then they don't feel bad or they don't get GERD because they're sitting like an upright kind of position. So
Hmm.
it does help
I
apparently.
I could put a link in for that shows this idea of sleeping on the left side. The video is produced for scleroderma, but it could apply to
Ah,
acid
Mhm.
reflux.
All
The
right.
doctor is I think she's from California. So I'll send
Thanks,
that
Judy.
after this meeting.
Okay.
Perfect.
That
Thank
Awesome.
would
you.
be great.
All right, we're gonna keep moving because I don't want to run out of time for trivia here. Number 4, cold air. So you're inside and it's dry. Maybe you move outside. Now it's cold, and that might be triggering your
no.
breathing. Sometimes even just the transition between air, so hot to cold, cold to hot, can trigger people. And this is another solution with Jenna's scarf. You know, if you use a mask or a scarf over your nose and mouth, then while you're breathing, your humidity from your breath comes out into the scarf or into the mask, and then your next breath in kind of gets humidified by that. So that can help change the humidity in the air, and it can, or just in what you breathe, and it can change the temperature. So you're exhaling warm air, and part of that will come back in the heat from that with your next breath. So the scarf and mask trick is a pretty good one.
Hmm.
Humidity is a factor too for breathing
Right.
challenges.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. All right. Number 3, holiday breathing triggers. Overexertion. We all know we get really busy when the holidays show up or preparing to go into the holidays. So pace yourselves, prioritize things, pace yourselves, plan it out, and plan some downtime. Do plan some downtime. Visiting with people, even if you're sitting around, can be draining. And this can affect our breathing as well and our overall immunity too. Our immune systems can get weak when we get tired too.
And also one thing is not to be overexerted is to plan ahead of time so that you don't worry about cramming. You don't worry about not being able to do anything because that could also trigger your breathing
Yeah.
problems.
Even
Yeah.
people are cooking their turkeys the day before, making
Yes.
desserts some days
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just day one will be dessert. Then day two will be. So by the time you get into your Christmas party or dinners, then you have everything done in several days rather than in one day.
One day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pace it out. All right, number 2 holiday breathing triggers, viral or bacterial infections. We are out in the world, we're shopping, we're touching things, we're surrounding ourselves with family, friends, more people than usual. And if we're tired, we can get a little more vulnerable. So keep your immune system functioning well. Give it some help with vaccines, get it trained up on all those bugs that might come around. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands more often, all the time, especially before you eat. That can really help. And then wearing a mask can help too if you're in small spaces with people, or if you're around people who maybe have some symptoms and you're not sure, just mask up for a bit.
I'm getting invitations for Christmas parties or dinners. On the invitation, it says please let us know if you're experiencing or suffering any respiratory conditions or any viral infections. I thought that was a really wise,
Mm.
Yeah.
move from the organizers, simply because, yeah, you don't want to spread any
No.
viral infections nowadays. And for people who have lung problems, that is a good thing too, because then if they said, oh, at least they're screening or at least they're reminding people. So, yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot going around now, right? So
I know.
be aware and protect yourself.
Just had my flu and my COVID vaccine together, and it's just like, oh my god.
Knocks you out. Yeah.
then-
But it's
and then-
worth it.
Half day.
And then, of course, a lot of us have our own personal portable germ manufacturing facilities.
Yes.
As of grandchildren who bring everything into the house.
Yeah.
I've been thinking of
Yeah.
getting a dip. I've been thinking of getting a dip tank just in front of my front door, so that when he comes, grab him by the feet, dip him down. See if that helps anything.
The disinfectant that they put in when you
Oh,
animal kind of thing, where you soak your shoes into a
Oh.
basic thing with
Oh.
disinfectants.
Oh,
Throw the
You're
kid
asked
in
to
there.
wear all these kind of- I think we should go back to those kind of thing, because school children, of course, they're still in school, and then by the time they get home, the school is a good breeding ground for viral
Yeah.
infection and bacterial infection. So these kids come home with the bacteria and then infect the parents or the elderly inside within the household. So, yeah. So maybe we could spray all these disinfectants to children before they get into the house. And not much of virus or bacteria.
You got to patent this, Alan. Get it patented.
Go ahead, Santa. Go ahead.
Yeah, I watched the news 2 nights ago. Dr. Bonnie Henry said it's not COVID and it's not the flu, the influenza that increased the number of people in the hospitalization. Is the RSV.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
recently. So
Yeah.
so COVID is number one, but the number two is the RSV.
RSV. Yes.
Yeah. So not
Even for
only
young
do we
kids
need
now.
the COVID shot, we need the flu shot, we need the RSV shot. The RSV shot, the provincial government is not paying for that.
Yeah.
So
That's
we have
right.
to pay I paid $290
Yeah.
because my respirologist told me, because I have severe asthma, so I have
Oh,
to we
okay.
have all have to self-funded. So I have to pay $290 for the RSV shot.
Oh my God! I thought I was charged $220. I thought
Yeah.
it's so expensive. If you want that cheaper, you can come to Burnaby. It's $70 cheaper.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know
some
they charge for it.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
some extended coverage, if you have that, might cover some of it, but that varies,
Mhm.
company to company. Yeah, it's definitely expensive, but it's worth
I know that there
it.
was
Worth
one
it.
patient from our group too who said that
That one, it was a Rexby.
near St. Paul's that sells it for $180 only.
Well, now we
So
got a
I
bargain
identify
shop for
that.
our shots.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah,
I mean,
hopefully they
it's
fund it soon.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
yeah. I
Well,
think the studies are ongoing a bit, the longer term studies, but it's not, we're kind of joking about bargain shop, but it is worth calling pharmacies and just kind of see. And generally speaking, we hear from people that Costco is quite good in that way because their dispensing fee is lower.
it's only
So it could be worth a couple
$12.49.
phone calls,
Yeah.
before you head
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
But if you really wanted to be like get a discounted rate. Wait till that study comes out because they're recruiting patients to get that vaccine and they're following up on that cohort. Okay, I was given the link to that one and I haven't looked at it. Uh, I will look at it and then see if all of us can be part of that cohort and see if we can get that for free or yeah, but you know what? The risk is very high for you guys. What is 100, what is 220 or 290 if it can save your life? That is what I was thinking. But if
Yeah.
you have okay, apparently if you have a medical insurance covered by Blue Cross, they pay a certain percentage on the vaccine. I don't know if you
Not very
anyone has a
much.
Blue Cross.
We do,
Oh,
and
not
it
very much.
didn't cover very much. No.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my.
I still had to pay close to 200. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? When you look at it, what's the
It's
price for
worth
your
it. Yeah.
life, right? Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
I
true.
just put in the chat box Immunize BC website or
Mhm.
SB, and you can get some tips and updated information there.
Mhm. Up to now, I think Jenna, it is only one time, like one shots only, because they haven't done really. There's
That's right.
ongoing studies on how many shots is really needed because they're just following people who have received it, and the numbers are not that big enough. Okay, so they're following up to like they're monitoring how much protection and when is the protection going down or up to what period of time the protection is being offered at a maximum. So those are some of the questions that needed to be answered, and they're doing that right now.
Yeah, so it's a new vaccine, so they just don't know
Mhm.
how long it's gonna hold for. So originally they said maybe yearly, now they're saying maybe
Yeah.
every 2 years, but only literally every year we find out.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
like the COVID one, every 6 months
yeah,
before.
yeah, so we don't know.
Yeah,
So
we
stay
don't know.
tuned for more information on that one.
Yep.
All right,
I
and
spent
number
Christmas
one.
of 2014 in hospital with RSV for, I think I was there for 8 days in
Wow.
isolation. And
Mm.
Wow, Jeannie. Yeah. Yeah.
8 days. Yeah.
Apo- Okay,
yeah, I
so for
spent Christmas Day in the hospital.
on
Oh,
The
oh.
silver lining was from the window of my room, I could see the CN Tower. It was
Oh.
obstructed view, but I could see the light show like every night at sunset. There'd be a
Yeah.
That's so good.
15-minute light show. Yeah, that was
Wow.
I guess, the silver lining of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
always the optimist.
yeah,
Love
the
it.
RSV is really fatal among children and less fatal among elderlies. However, if you have a comorbidity or comorbid conditions, just like your pulmonary diseases or any other chronic conditions, then it can become fatal. So that's the reason why they wanted all the 65 and above and those with
60.
comorbid, yeah, 60 and above, and those with comorbid conditions take the RSV vaccine.
All right, we've arrived at the number
Da, da,
one
da, da.
holiday breathing trigger is
Yay!
Stress.
stress. What? Stress and emotions. This is such an emotional time of year, whether it's the pressure or just feeling close with the family or not feeling close with the family. There's so much that's going on in our hearts. And we have identified this one as our number one holiday breathing trigger. So,
And Tina, can we include also the isolation here? Thing
yeah,
with holiday
you
stress
might
and
have too much going on. You might have not enough
yeah.
going on.
Or
Yeah,
sometimes you may not be able to travel because of your condition and so on. That is also a trigger.
stressful. Yeah,
Yes.
there's everybody's got their own situations, their own
Mhm.
issues and circumstances, and it's not always easy. For sure. Even joy, like real strong happiness can induce like an overwhelming of emotions too. So it can
Mhm.
come from either way. We also know that lung conditions come hand in hand with anxiety and depression. And we do see higher suicide rates just in the general population around this time of year as well. So we know that it can be quite draining, tasking, stressful around this time of year. So acknowledge that, know when you're feeling overwhelmed or feeling a lot, and give yourself some self-care and some time to work through this. And there's this saying that Yoga with Adrienne uses regularly, and she says, treat yourself like you love yourself, or treat yourself lovingly. And I think especially around this time of year, we maybe put a lot of pressure on ourselves to do things for other people or live up to expectations. But you know what? Drop those expectations, look after number one, do what you need for yourself, and don't put yourself aside entirely, right? Give yourself some time, give yourself that hug, right? Yeah. So self-care can go a long way, and maybe you find some things leading into the season that that do rejuvenate you, give you some more energy and help remove that stress. So things like green spaces and blue spaces can help. So looking at greenery, looking at, water, and that can be photos, that can be reliving the summer, it can be looking at your Christmas tree with the lights on shimmering, and just take some time to enjoy the beauty that does surround you. And the other thing is a gratitude practice. And this is especially a good time to practice gratitude. So just thinking about the things that you do have in your life to be grateful for. And when you're feeling gratitude, you're not going to be feeling depression or anxiety, because we apparently can only feel one thing at a time. So you can actually distract yourself from that. Focus on happiness, focus on gratitude. Does anyone have suggestions about what they do? If you have any self-love tactics that have helped you get through sometimes, or things you use when things are good, and then you draw on those sort of rehearsed habits in times of stress?
I find
No?
prioritizing invitations in the sense that, like, I kind of know which ones might generate more fatigue, or it could be like just being with a larger group of people and I'm not comfortable being in a theater or in a concert. So I would go, but I don't want to be sitting right next to somebody I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Sort of thinking about what those celebrations and gatherings are gonna involve. Yeah,
That's a good point.
yeah. And pace
Yeah,
it
I went
out
to a
too,
concert
right?
on Saturday and I purposely wanted to sit at the end of the row, um, so that I could kind of make a mad dash if I had to, instead of in the middle of the row. But
Good plan.
the concert
Did
was
you
Yeah,
have the
that
quite
is a good
dash?
full.
point.
It was, I went because a friend invited me to go to hear her son play in a ukulele recital. And
Oh,
Ah,
yeah, so it was a nice treat.
yeah.
Um, and he wasn't on until the end of the 2-hour period. But anyway, I ended up sitting at the end of a row, but it was a very tight um surroundings, like,
Uh-huh.
so I didn't feel really comfortable there. I would have probably preferred to have sat at the very
Mhm.
back of the sanctuary and just listened to it from afar. But
Yeah.
anyway,
yeah. And in those moments, or wherever you feel like the tension or that stress is kind of rising, um, we sometimes don't feel it, but we can't always draw on the power of our own breath. And so some simple deep breathing in those moments, slow breaths, intentional breaths, really filling the lungs and letting the air out slowly, can give signals to our body and our mind that we are okay. And we can slowly work through and kind of bring ourselves back down a little bit. And so it's kind of nice that to know that you always have that in yourself in those moments. You don't need to grab anything or even go anywhere necessarily, but you do have some power with your breath. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, activates those parasympathetic pathways. Love it.
Yeah. That's a
All
good
right.
advice, Jenna.
Yeah.
You know, for
Okay.
Christmas, though, a lot of you have all this. I'm one of the people who loves the anticipation of the holidays, but I make sure that on Christmas Day, it's all by myself, like reading books or do whatever I want to do without anybody else or something like that. But I am so excited about the anticipating what's in Christmas or something. After the Christmas dinner, I promised myself this will be all about myself. So I had some
Yeah.
quiet moments during
Good
Christmas
plan.
Day.
I like that. And sometimes it makes you feel better knowing that that's coming. Gets you through the hump
Yeah.
of the busyness.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, nicely done. So we're gonna be short on time here. So the tips to manage your holiday triggers, we basically went through all of these as we got to the same things, got to the countdown. So I'm gonna skip this one in favor of trivia. So I'll hand over to you, Jenna, to do this holiday trivia.
Sure. And I'm just thinking here because we are at 3:30. So maybe we can up the ante with our trivia and put a little timer,
Okay.
perhaps. And let's see if we as a group can beat the timer and answer the 6 questions, all holiday related Christmas trivia. Oh, it's getting lost in the background there. So what do you say? So what we can do is if you have the answer, just shout it out, or I'm looking at the chat box, you could type it in the chat box, and let's see if we can do a lightning round and come up with these answers.
Jenna, do you want to put a 6 minutes up on your
Sure.
you want to put your
Let's do
6 minute
that.
timer on?
Let's
If
do
we
that.
can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give it a try.
All right. So for this trivia, you will need to know some carols. You will need to know some movies. Some just general kind of Christmas knowledge. I am starting maybe a thumbs up. Are we all ready?
Yeah.
Team Better Breathers? Okay, here we go. Timer starting now. All right, if we flip to the next slide. In what Christmas carol do you have to count? In what
12
Christmas
Days of
carol?
Christmas.
Awesome, Jeannie, you got it. All right, next
That's so
question, Tina.
fast.
What famous Elvis Presley song from the
Blue
1950s?
Christmas.
Christmas.
Yeah, you guys all got it. Awesome. Let's keep going. Blue Christmas. What is the most popular item to put
Star.
on top of a Christmas tree?
Angel.
Star.
Oh, we're
Angel,
mixed.
angel.
I'm hearing angel. I heard more angels than stars. Do we want to go angel?
Okay.
I'll go for it.
Okay.
I put an
Jeannie made
angel
the
on,
executive decision. It is angel. It is an angel is the most common item to put on top of
Angel.
a tree.
Oh, angel.
I would have said star as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Name 4 of Santa's reindeer.
I think we can
Donner,
name them all.
Dasher,
Blitzen,
Dancer, Prancer,
Rudolph.
Vixen, Comet,
Prancer.
I think we got
Donner,
them. I heard
Two
them
in a
all,
row.
including Rudolph. I
Don't,
think
for-
we got that one.
don't forget
So
Olive.
we
Don't forget Olive.
Olive,
And Olive.
Olive.
the other reindeer.
So we have Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Dasher, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen, Rudolph, and Olive.
Rudolph, yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one. Okay. In the movie A Christmas Carol, what does Scrooge do to improve Cratchit's life the day after Christmas?
There's some raise.
So, yeah,
He
who said that one?
He bring the all the Christmas present and then the turkey. And
Yeah,
then
he
all
did.
the gives us gifts to the
That was
family,
on
to that
Christmas.
family, to Cratchit's
To the
family.
family, yeah, that was on Christmas. And he also gave Cratchit a raise, and I heard
The
that
raise
one.
the
So
salary,
yeah,
Totally
yeah,
got that
yeah.
one.
Well done. Oh, I think we're doing pretty well.
Oh,
This might be a hard one. In what town does It's a Wonderful Life take place?
Get your Google
Wonderful
skills
life.
out.
in Italy, Rome. Rome?
Not
Italy?
Rome, not Rome.
Not Rome.
Someone got Chat GPT open. Get Google going.
This is the hardest. This is the hardest one. I thought I'd put a hard one in
Yeah.
there. In
Alan's
what
typing.
town does
Paul is
It's a
typing.
Wonderful Life
I can
take
tell.
place?
Jeannie's typing. Shawnee's typing.
I
wanna
need
make
to
the sound.
rewatch this movie. It's been a while.
I'm getting Bedford
Bedford
Falls.
Falls,
Oh yeah, you guys.
New York,
Excellent
upstate New
Googling.
York.
Excellent Googling, everyone. The correct answer is Bedford Falls. Yeah, nice.
Oh.
All right. I think, are we on our last one, Tina?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
that's
That was it.
with 2.5 minutes on the timer.
Woohoo!
Yay.
Yay! So we actually did have some prizes, and as it happens, Men has just scooted out. She has to go
Oh,
drive her husband
Oh.
to an appointment. But she has assured us in advance that we have Tim Hortons gift cards for all of you for participating in our holiday trivia game.
You get a prize, and you get a prize.
And you get a prize.
Awesome.
And you get a prize.
Oh,
So,
that's wonderful.
I've written
We'll
down
wait until
everyone's
we're-
names.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've written down everyone's names, and I'm pretty sure we have everyone's emails here. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And we can
Yeah.
grab that after we're done recording as well. Paula.
So this Better Breathers Club is different than the other ones that I go to that include you guys?
Possibly.
Okay.
So we have some that are the Better Breathers Club of BC, and then we
Yeah.
have other events that we do that are the Poplar Chat and Chew events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Okay.
this one is sponsored by BC Lung Foundation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Similar vein though.
So
Yeah.
does it meet like once a month, twice a month?
Yep, once a month, and we're just trying to avoid competition with some of BC Lung's other services. So we believe we're going to keep running these on the second Wednesday of every month. So the second Wednesday
What-
of every month.
At what
right
time?
here. Oh,
At this
Are
time?
you-
2
2 to 3.
2 to 3.
2:00. Yeah, today was a total
Okay.
exception.
Okay.
we had a last minute, conflict.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
so it should
okay.
be second Tuesday.
Thanks.
Now, I'm not promising
No.
prizes every Tuesday though.
What?
Or every
No,
Wednesday.
Wednesday, you
Wednesday.
said. Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Because I do one on a Monday at the beginning of the
Mm.
month. I do one on the Monday and the Wednesday. And then I get invitations for like different days. And I'm like, it's just like so
and
much.
things move around. Yeah. BC Lung also
Okay.
does another one called Ask the Experts, which
Oh.
is for COPD and asthma focus. And that one is on the third Wednesday of every month.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff is for COPD. And when you try to sign up, they go, you don't have it, so you can't join. I'm like, okay.
You're
Oh.
open arms at this one.
So
Everyone,
it's just kind of weird.
yeah,
Yeah.
thought so too.
So that And maybe that is good that we say that, yes, the online Better Breathers Club of BC is open to everyone that lives in BC and Jeannie, and
Thank you.
with any chronic lung condition. And the goal of our club is to support each other and really go through practical tools, helpful tips and tricks when living with a chronic lung condition. Yes. And then the slight difference with the Poplar Chat and Choose is we are open to anyone, anywhere that can sign on to the link. And that is a Poplar service, and this one's joint with
Yeah.
BC Lung Foundation. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
welcome.
Good questions. And speaking
Paula, if
speaking of
you're
other
interested
things,
in more fitness classes, the BC Lung has Breathe Right on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
they sure do. Yes. As well as harmonicas for health and happiness.
Did it. Did it.
And we have some alumni. I know. I was just gonna say we have a couple alumni in the group.
Can we only do it once? Can we come back to harmonicas?
Well, stay tuned
No.
for alumni groups. We're trying to make that
Okay.
happen, so it's not formulated yet, but stay tuned.
Just kidding. It was
Yeah.
fun. I recommend it.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, it's super fun, and we have room in intakes coming up. So the next one, we have one starting in early January,
Yeah.
January 13th, and then the next one is where we still have a lot of room is March 3rd. So March
Mm.
3rd, if anyone's interested, it's a 5-week program that's on Mondays at 1 o'clock for 1 hour. We'll send you a harmonica, a player's book. Everything is free. It's funded by the BC Lung Foundation, and it's super fun, like Paula said.
It is. Totally.
Yeah. And then if you're looking for more, if you look like some one-to-one time with a respiratory therapist, certified respiratory educators, we do have our online Poplar Clinic, which is open to those living in BC. So this is for personalized care. And you can book a one-to-one appointment at your convenience. So with that being said, we'd like to say happy holidays and happy New Year 2025. We hope to see you on January 8th is our next BC Better Breathers Club, January 8th, 2 o'clock.
Okay.
Right here. Zoom link is online on the BC Lung Foundation website, on the Poplar Pulmonary Wellness website, and it's free. We hope to see you here.
And we'll be using the
Awesome.
same Zoom link for each of our meetings. So
Yeah.
we'll try and keep this one really simple and straightforward. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
everybody.
Thanks so
This
much.
was
This is
so much
wonderful.
fun.
This was a great
Thanks,
meeting.
Shade.
Happy holidays, all.